Few days ago, one of my students shared a writing task with me. He was supposed to appear in the IELTS exam, and he said that I have written it down on MS Word, and MS Word has not highlighted even one single mistake in that. But still, he shared that content with me, and he wanted me to give him the review that, if there is any mistake further. But he was believing that if MS Word is not showing any sort of mistake, so can I identify any? And there were a lot of mistakes. And it's been 11 years I'm teaching, and I have realized that students are making mistakes even when they have to appear in IELTS and PTE, OET, CSS English exam, or whatsoever is the English exam. They do make these mistakes. And these mistakes are at every level, at intermediate, basic, and even at advanced level. What happens? These are the mistakes which you believe that you have written perfectly, but still these mistakes are there because these are not even, these are related to the grammar, but not directly connected to the grammar itself. It's more about how you perceive it and how you portray it. I have written down 5 mistakes today that are going to help you to improve your grammar, your writing by following these things. Now, what I did, I have written down few of the things here on the paper. I hope you can read it out because I won't have to go for the further editing. So the first mistake that students make is the mixing tenses. Now, what is the mistake of mixing tenses? When you are sharing a story, if your examiner asks you a question which is related to the past, let's suppose the present or even future, and you are going to share a story, every single sentence you deliver over there is grammatically okay. It's perfect. But the thing is, the story is a mixture of all the tenses. All of the sudden, you're talking about past, then suddenly you have started talking about present, and out of nowhere, you are adding up some future related sentences there. Now, when you're writing something like that on MS Word or any software in the world, they are not going to highlight that you're making the mixture of these tenses because sentences are perfect, but you are making the mixture. Remember, whenever your examiner has asked you the question, even if you're writing down something and the question is related to the past, focus on one thing. Every single thing that you're going to write it down or you're going to speak up to give the answer, that should be in the past tenses only. It should be only past indefinite, past continuous, perfect continuous, or the perfect tense. If the question or the topic is related to the future, you should only use the future tenses there. Remember, it cannot be the combination of different tenses there. That's the first thing. Number two, very important thing, and that is apostrophes. Apostrophes. We use apostrophes for different purposes. I'm going to tell you the 3 purposes. Number one, we use apostrophe whenever we have to talk about the position of something. And position means this is Ali's car. Ali apostrophe S, that shows the possession of something. We show it that it belongs to Ali. This is Umar's cafe. So Umar's cafe means Umar is the owner of the cafe. That is why we use the apostrophe. And secondly, when students want to write down a plural word, they are using apostrophe there unconsciously. Like students, students, student, apostrophe S, students are not willing to appear in the exam. That student is for plural. We cannot use it there. But if you are writing it down once again on MS Word or any software like that, student with the apostrophe itself could be a word. The problem is not in the grammar. The problem is how you are implementing that in a sentence. And one more thing. The third use of the apostrophe would be whenever you are using contraction. For instance, it is, you don't want to write it is as 2 word. Maybe you're writing an informal essay or a letter, not essay, sorry. You're writing an informal letter. So you can use it apostrophe s that represents it is because that is the contraction of that. But for it's without ts, that is different. Hold on a second. Okay, so what it's without apostrophe, that represents the possession. For it's different. ITS shows the possession. For instance, the dog wagged its without apostrophe, the dog wagged its tail. So ITS without apostrophe shows the possession. And IT apostrophe S shows the contraction. You should be very well aware of these rules. Number 3, punctuation. When it comes to the punctuation, where do you have to put commas, full stop, exclamation mark, question mark? You should be well aware, because when we are speaking up, we don't use this punctuation there with the voice, with the flow of tone. We make other person, our listener, realize that what exactly are we talking about. Your listener will easily understand it. Either you are asking a question or you are delivering an answer. He will get it. Where is the comma? Where is the full stop? He will get it. You don't need to use it. But when it comes to writing, one very common mistake from the punctuation point of view is when students are writing down 3 examples. For instance, Ali, Umar, Qasim. So they use Ali, comma, Umar, comma, Qasim. But remember, whenever you are giving more than 2 examples, more than 1 example anywhere, first 2 things or first 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, how many things are there, you will use comma. But before the last one, we do not use the comma there. We use and. It would be coffee, tea, and coffee, comma, tea, and it could be strawberry fizz or whatever it is. So you have to use and before the last word. And before that, it doesn't matter how many words were there, you will still use the comma there. Punctuation is very important. Work on that, learn that. There could be instructors who are going to teach you that, or even if YouTube video can help you out, or even I'll also make further videos for the punctuation. But learn, get a strong grip on the punctuation, because punctuation is something that students are making mistakes unconsciously. They're not even aware that they made the mistake, and then they ask the question, why didn't I get the good band in the exam? Next one, run-on sentences or fragments. Run-on sentences are those complex and the compound sentences that you are continuously writing without putting a comma or a full stop there. If you are trying to write a lengthy sentence, remember, complex sentence, a compound sentence, there are more chances of making a mistake. I'm not saying that you should not make a compound or a complex sentence. You have to use that. If you're writing at advanced level, you have to use it. But still, run-on sentences are not appreciable if those sentences are not in your control. Or if you're using fragments, and fragments means that you are writing incomplete sentences, and the combination that you're making of the sentences is incomplete, is not making any sense. It is not allowed. So what you should do is to have a very good control on the sentences, even when you're writing the compound or the complex sentences. Last but not the least is misusing preposition. Misusing preposition means there are different prepositional words, and these words have different meaning. And once again, every meaning is maybe every meaning that it is creating is perfectly fine. But the only thing is the placement of that one single preposition in one situation. That is wrong. For example, in time and on time. I want you to come in time. I want you to come on time. Whatever I'm using, both are perfect. But in time represents that you have to come before the deadline, before the time. For instance, the class starts at 5 o'clock. I want you to come in time. In time means I don't want you to come at 5 o'clock sharp. I want you to come a bit earlier than 5 o'clock. That's in time. On time, I want you to come exactly on the time. On time represents exactly. The class starts at 5 o'clock. I want you to be here at 5 o'clock sharp, which means I want you to be here on time. Words are same, but the meanings are also acceptable, but it's more about what you want to use. Are you using these prepositions on its right place or not? For instance, I am in home, I am at home, both are perfect sentences. There is no mistake in that. If you are actually sitting inside your home, then you can say, I'm in home. But if you are outside your home, and let's suppose you get a call from another city and your friend is asking, or your family member is asking you that where are you? You are standing outside your home, but just because you are accessible at home, you can say, I am at home. So in home means you're there. At home means you're there. But the only difference is in home means you're inside. At home means you're somewhere around the home, and you could be accessible there if anybody wants to come and to meet you. So meanings are there. It's not like you are using a word which doesn't contain a meaning. These words, the prepositional words, phrasal verbs, these words have the perfect meaning. But the thing is, are you really applying a right meaning in a right situation or not? So these are the 5 mistakes I wanted to talk about. You work on these, and I assure you, after that, you are, even if you believe that you have good grammar, still just notice these things. And I hope that you are, I really wish that you are not making these mistakes. But if you are, just try to improve that. Well, thank you so very much for watching this video. Take care. Bye bye. Stay blessed. Allah Hafiz.